create a project file in SI5, go ahead and click the Projects tab here. And there's a link up here that says Create a New Project. This is going to open up a 10-step new project wizard. Now, there are technically only two required fields at this point, the client name and the project name, but there are some other additional fields that you're going to want to fill in during this wizard, but you certainly don't have to fill in all of the information at this point in time. You can come back later inside of the project file and enter the information then. If you've set up clients and contacts first under the Clients and Contacts tab, you can select them from the drop-down list. Here you can see these are just the names of the clients from the imported sample projects. You can also just type in any name you want here. In this case, we'll do Mr. and Mrs. Smith and the project name Smith Home. Of course, you can name these whatever you want. You can choose a status here if you'd like. This is from your Setup tab. You can say that we're status of this that it's estimating. The project number you can leave blank, and it will fill in automatically for you from the settings under the Setup tab, or you can manually type in a project number here if you have a specific one that you wish to use. Down here, you can enter the name of the primary contact for the project file. This name is what will print on the proposal reports inside of SI5, so I'll go ahead and put a name in there. Title, phone, and email, you can, of course, add those. Those are optional fields. If you've set up your staff types under the Setup tab, you can also select them here. In this case, we have nothing in the drop-down menus. But moving ahead, you would enter a site address, which I'm going to skip doing in this example here. A billing address. If you want to do that, you can also copy your site address over here if the site and billing are the same. Here you can import additional contacts on the job. Again, if you've set up your clients and contacts here, who the architect is, who the builder is, are examples of what you can put out here. You're just entering project level information. Step 5 of the wizard, you could add a scope of work for this project. This is an optional client report. You can type in this field, you can copy and paste into this field. It's a memo field, so it's pretty much unlimited with the text that you can add here. You can also set up snippets if you wish, and that's just preset bits of text that you can add to the scope of work file here, and then of course add some carriage returns and then add another statement. Moving ahead, the step 6 is where you're going to define the location types, and again, all of these settings are pulling from the Setup tab. By default, we use 3 types here for the location types. First, we identify buildings, then floors, and then rooms. This is not the step where you're actually going to name buildings and floors and rooms. You're just telling the software, this is the hierarchy that I've chosen to lay out my location list. And the location list is important inside of SI5 because as you're adding products to the bill of materials, you're going to keep them organized by adding them to a location. So if you're happy here with the 3 steps, your building, floor, room, or these 3 levels, just hit next, and here's where you're actually going to add locations. If you click this little arrow here, you can type in a brand new building location if it's not in your list. And again, this list is from the Setup tab. If you go to more building locations, it'll pull up the entire list from the Setup tab. So just in this example, I'm going to choose a guest house and a main house. You can move these around in order here that you want them to print on the reports. It's assuming you're going to group a proposal by location. You may not want the guest house to be the first thing that your clients see. So you can move these around. And the same goes for the subs of this, the floors and the rooms. So real quickly, now that I've got this selected, I'm going to add the floor locations to this. Say there's a first floor and a second floor. And we can choose the guest house and say that there's a first floor. Then on the first floor, you can add the rooms. And again, this is a big list from the Setup tab. You can, of course, customize this list. And for this example, we'll just go ahead and choose a few locations here. You see that they list here. And again, once again, just keep in mind the move up, move down arrows to put these in the order you want. And we'll do the second floor really quickly as well and add the bedrooms there. So we're laying out the locations. Now, you may not know all of the locations at this point in time. Don't worry. Again, all this information can be modified and updated inside of the actual project file once it's created. Moving ahead, you would create your zone list if you choose to. A zone should be thought of as a system. And we have a basic list out here: AV system, IT system, security system, solar system. You can, of course, break this down further if you'd like to. We can choose AV system as part of this, but there may also be a control system going into this project, and we may further want to identify something else like the security system. And after you've done this, now again, this is just for organization and grouping, filtering, and sorting on your reports. You can organize your parts by what location they're in and also what system they're a part of. Choosing next, these are your contract percentages. If you want to change these, you can. These are pulling from the setup tab on how the client can expect to be billed for this job. And the last step would be to add any custom properties. And again, you identify these custom properties under that setup tab. But go ahead and hit save, and it's going to prompt you to save this file. There's no need to make any changes here. Let this save to the default location. And once it saves, the interface back here is going to move over here to the selected project details tab, and you'll get a quick summary here of the project file. Now you can open this project file in the text interface. To do that, just choose the Open drop down here and select Open in SI Text. And this is the text interface. I'll go ahead and expand this full screen. And what you're looking at here is on the right hand side the project data matrix. This is your bill of materials. This is where you're going to add the equipment to the project file. And we'll show you how to do that in another video. What I'm going to show you right now is the D-Tools menu along the top here. So at any point that you want to modify or add additional project information, you do that through this link here, D-Tools project information. You can see we can now enter the site and billing address that I skipped earlier, or if you want to modify your locations, add more, remove some, you certainly can do that here as well. We also, out here under the D-Tools menu, have an options form. This is where the phases pull in from the setup tab for each project file. And if you feel like modifying your labor rates on a per job basis, this is where you would do that. Same is true for the taxes on a job. If you want to adjust the taxes for this particular project, make your changes here, hit save, and it will only affect this project file.